There is something unusual about certain people who enter your life, because it is not merely attraction, it is not simply connection. It is as if something within you is being drawn by a silent force you cannot understand, and even when it hurts, you cannot walk away. And perhaps you have already felt this, a presence that holds you in place, a gaze that disarms you, an absence that consumes you. You try to explain it, but you cannot because it does not seem logical. It feels inevitable, as if that person occupies a space within you that no one else can reach. And that is not comfortable. It is too intense. It is too deep. And at the same time, it is dangerous, because you begin to revolve around them, as if your own identity starts to shrink. You notice that you think about them without intending to, that you miss them even when you should not, that you justify behaviors you would have never accepted before, and something within you whispers. This is not just love, but you ignore it, because there is a part of you that wants to continue, even knowing that it exhausts you, that it binds you, that it transforms you into someone you no longer fully recognize. And then the question arises that almost no one asks with honesty: why this person? Why do they affect you so deeply? Why can you not leave? It is not about them, and that is difficult to accept, because admitting it means looking inward. And inside there is something you may have avoided for a long time, something that does not want to be seen, but is now being activated. And it is not coincidence. It never was. There is a silent pattern that repeats itself, and it does not begin with the other person. It begins within you, like an echo searching for an answer, like an emptiness trying to be filled. You meet someone, and suddenly something ignites. But what ignites is not new. It is old. It is familiar. Even if you have never lived it before, because it is not about the story you are living now. It is about something that was already within you, waiting for a face to manifest through. That person becomes a mirror, but not an ordinary mirror. They reflect what you cannot see in yourself, what you have forgotten, or what you have never acknowledged. And that is why it feels so intense, because you are not only seeing them, you are seeing parts of yourself projected onto them. And this creates a powerful illusion, a sense of completion, as if something were finally being resolved. But it is not. It is only being revealed. And the more you become involved, the more you lose yourself, because you begin to confuse what is yours with what is theirs. And this mixture creates dependence, creates attachment, creates that feeling of emotional addiction. It is not about the person being special. It is about what they activate within you. And this explains why you repeat patterns, why the face changes, but the intensity remains the same, because the cycle is not outside, it is within, and until it is seen, it will continue to repeat. There comes a moment when something begins to become clear, not completely, but enough to disturb you. You realize that the intensity does not come only from the relationship. It comes from a deeper place, a place you may have never consciously explored. In analytical psychology, this has a name: projection. When you place onto the other what belongs to your own unconscious. And this does not happen consciously. It happens because certain parts of you have not yet been integrated, and so they search for a way to exist, and they find the other as a stage. That person becomes loaded with meaning, far more than they actually carry. And that is why it feels so difficult to let go. Because when you step away, you feel that you are losing something essential, but what you are losing is not them. It is access to what they awakened within you. Carl Jung expressed this with precision when he said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Carl Jung. And perhaps it is not only irritation, perhaps it is fascination, perhaps it is dependence, perhaps it is that almost hypnotic attraction. All of this points to something, to a part of you that is asking to be recognized, that is asking to become conscious, And until that happens, you continue projecting, you continue searching outside for what can only be found within. And this is the silent turning point, the moment when you begin to realize that the bond is not only with the other, it is with something within you that wants to be born. And when this realization begins to emerge, something slows down, not immediately, but gradually. As if the intensity begins to lose its strength, not because the feeling has disappeared, but because you have begun to see it. And when you see something clearly, it no longer dominates you in the same way. You begin to understand that the person was not the origin. They were the trigger, the portal, the mirror. And this does not diminish what you felt, but it transforms its meaning. The pain is no longer just pain, it becomes language. A signal of something that needed to be recognized, and perhaps still needs to be, because integration is not an end point. It is a silent process, deep and continuous. You do not need to rush to resolve it, nor force an artificial distance. Simply observing already changes something, already opens space, already creates awareness. And within that space, something new begins to exist, not as the absence of the other, but as the presence of yourself. And that brings a different feeling, more shant, less urgent, less dependent, like a sea that still moves, but is no longer in a storm. And deep down, perhaps that is what you have always been searching for, not the other person, but this inner encounter, this quiet reconnection. If this thought touched you, write in the comments the word revelación, because it is in revelation that what was hidden within us finally begins to take shape and awareness.